Good afternoon all. So in this video we'll study about the basics of Python programming. So here firstly we'll study about the history of Python programming. Python, it is mainly created by Guido van Rossum in 1980s, and after that in 1991 he published the first version of that Python, and that first version of Python will contain 0.90. This one is the name of that version, and this first version is published in 1991 at CWI in Netherlands, Amsterdam. This Python is mainly derived from the ABC programming language, and this ABC programming language is also known as the general purpose programming language. Rossum has given the name Python to his programming language because he was the big fan of Monty Python's Flying Circus. So here, all of these are related to the history of Python programming. Now we'll study the syntax of that Python programming, basic syntax of that Python programming. And in basic syntax, first part is interactive mode programming. Interactive mode is nothing but it is a command line shell which gives immediate feedback for each statement. So in interactive mode, it if you are given one statement here, you will immediately get the output for that first statement. That first statement, whatever the statement you are given, that statement will be executed in interactive mode immediately. So while running the previously fed statements in active memory. So here, as new lines are fed into the interpreter, the fed program is evaluated both in part and in whole. So in case of interactive mode programming, so here immediate feedback will be given for each and every statement. How do I run this interactive mode programming in Python? So to run this interactive mode in Python, firstly we need to start command prompt, and after that we can run this Python script interactively. Open the command line and type Python. After you type Python, that Python will be interpreter will be started there, and after that you can give the statements in Python here. So in interactive mode programming here, whatever the statement you are giving, those statements will be executed immediately. That's why it is known as a interactive mode. Next mode in interactive mode, some example is given. Print, suppose hello world you have taken. So it will print. If you have given this first statement, print hello world, you will immediately get the output hello world here. If you have written 4 plus 4 into 5, you will immediately get 24 output here. Okay, in case of the interactive mode programming is not IDE or the code editor. It is related to the command line. You need to open that command prompt, and in command prompt, if you have written the Python, it will directly start that Python interpreter. You can give the statements there. Okay. Next part is script mode programming. Script mode programming is what? Here you have to write code in a text file and then save it with the .py extension. So if you are going to write the program in a text file, and after that if you are going to save that program by using the .py extension, then that mode is called as a script mode programming. We'll tell you about it by using one example here. Here, suppose ideally I have started, and after that we'll use one, two statements here. Print, suppose hello, and second statement is print 4 plus 5. Okay. In this case, what we need to do, we need to save this file by using the name of that file .py extension. Okay, and after that you can run this file. So here in this case, what we have done, we have written all the statements from that program, and after that we have saved that file with the .py extension. That's why it is known as the script mode programming. So in case of script mode programming, you're going to write that program just like a script, and after that you will save it by using .py extension, and then you are going to execute it. This one is a script mode programming. Next, we'll study the features of Python. Python, it is a simple language, as uh, most of the syntax from the Python are written in a simple English language. That's why it is known as a simple programming language. It is also known as the interpreted programming language because in case of Python, the statements are executed, single statements are executed. The whole program will not be compiled here. In case of Python, you are going to execute each and every statement line by line in case of Python. That's why it is known as a Python programming language, interpreted programming language. Next one is it is easy to code. Next feature is free and the open source. You can download Python from that python.org site, and it does not cost a single penny. That's why it is called as a free and the open source. In Python, it mainly contains the object-oriented language. It contains object-oriented features. That's why it is a feature of Python programming. Object-oriented programming languages features like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction, all of these features are given in Python also. That's why it is known as the object-oriented language. It is also known as a higher level language as most of the statements, most of the instructions from the Python are given in the higher level language like English language. That's why it is known as the higher level language. And human can read these statements or syntax from the Python easily. That's why it is known as the higher level language. Extensible feature. Python is a portable language because if you have written the Python program in one system, you can run that Python program in another system. You will get the same output in both the systems. That's why it is known as a portable. You can copy that program and you can send that program to the another system. In another system, if Python is there, you can execute it and you will get the same output. That's why it is known as a portable language. Next topic is comments. If you want to give the comments in a Python programming language, at that time you will require hash or these double quotes. Three times double quotes are given or three times single quotes are given. If if you want to give the single line comment, you can use hash here. But if multiple lines are there, you can use this double quotes or single quotes three times. Okay. Comments are nothing but what? If you're if you're given any statement as a comment, then that statement will not be executed. Okay. I will tell you about it by using the example in ideally. Okay, in the same example here, if you want to give the comment like this is Python program. Okay, if you want to give the heading here that this is a Python program, you cannot run execute this statement, right? It is written in a English language. It is not given in the syntax of Python programming. So you can use the hash here. With the help of hash, it will system will consider it as a comment. Okay, and if single line comments are there, you can use hash, and if multiple line comments are there, then you will require this triple quotes, either single quotes or double quotes you can use. We'll run this program. You will get the output hello and the 9. Hello for this print hello and 9 for 4 plus 5. So now we'll move to the next topic, which is the indentations. Indentations are nothing but these are the white spaces at the beginning of line is called as the indentation. So all the statements inside the block should be at the same indentation level. Here one example is taken. If statement is taken, if true, if the statement is true, we need to execute these statements. Here two statements are given within the if block. So print hello and a is equal to 7. These two statements are given within the if block. And as these two statements are given within the if block, we need to check the white spaces. All the statements inside this block, if block, should be at the same indentation level and should be at the same, should contain the same white spaces here. Okay. And because of this print and the A, both of them, P and A from this statement, both of them are at the same indentation level. Okay, we'll study about it by using one example. Here in this example, if you have taken the statement like if true, T will be capital, print hello, or you can write it as I, and A is equal to 5 plus 7, and after that you are going to print the value of A here. So here in this case, three statements are given within the E block. So we need to check that all of these statements should be at same indentation level. Okay, the white spaces given before these statements will be same. If I have written it like this, and I'm going to run it, it will give you an error that expected an indented block after each statement on the line 4. So here in that white space you need to add here. Then and then only system will get an idea about it that these statements are given within the E block. So now if you are going to run it, you will get an output here. It will not gives you any error as you have used the same indentation level for all of these three statements. The next topic is literals. Literals are nothing but what? These are the data that is provided in the variable and known as the literals in the Python. Here suppose you have declared one variable friend is equal to Ricky counting, or the some numeric literals are given a is equal to 2 or b equal to 33.4. So all of this Ricky counting, it is a literal, 2 is a literal. So literals are nothing but these are the values which are given in a Python. Okay, these values are provided for the variable. Friend is one variable, a is a variable, a is a variable again here. Okay, and true, it is a boolean literal. These are the numeric literal, and Ricky counting, it is a string literal. So literals are nothing but these are the data which are provided for this variable. Next, we'll study about the identifiers. Identifiers are nothing but it is the collection of alphanumeric characters which are used to give the name to the programming elements like variables, class, or the functions. So for variables, class, or the function, if you want to give the alphanumeric characters for variable, if you want to declare the variables, if you want to declare the classes, or if you want to declare the functions, for that purpose you will require the identifiers. And for those identifiers, for constructing those identifiers, some rules are there. That each and every identifier, it must starts with an alphabet or the underscore, and then it will be followed by the numbers or the alphabetical values. So here, suppose if you have written like a is a variable here, okay. If you have written that a is a variable, means it is known as the identifier. You can write it, but if you have written underscore a, it is also allowed in case of Python, as the identifier it may start with the alphabet or it may start with the underscore, and then you can add the numbers here a01, or you can add the digits numbers here. Okay. Next one is next rule is identifier should not starts with the digit. If you are written like this 0a, if your identifier starts with the digit, then it will give you an error that it is not allowed. Identifier is a unique name given to the element of program. Each and every identifier must have the unique name. Identifiers are case sensitive. So if you have written, if you have declared the variable a, okay, and if you are going to print the capital A, then also you will get an error that capital A is not defined. We will study about it by using the ideally. Yeah, suppose I have declared one variable a is equal to 0, 8, a. Then the system, it is giving you a syntax error because you cannot declare these identifiers by using the digit. Okay. If you have written like this underscore, this identifier, it can be starts with the either alphabet or by the underscore. If I have written like this underscore e is equal to something like this, hello, then also system will accept it. If I have written a, then 09, this identifier name is A09, okay, and the value is 67, system will accept it. Okay, so the first rule is correct, that each and every identifier, it may start with the alphabet or underscore, and after alphabet and underscore you can add the digits here. Next one is identifier should not start with the digit. If you are written like this, that the 08A is equal to 89, 98, here system will give you an error that the identifier should not start with the digits here. Leading zeros in the decimal integer, literals are not permitted. It will give you an error as per the second rule. The third rule is each and every identifier must be a unique number. After that, these identifiers are case sensitive. So here, as I have written that underscore a is equal to hello. If I'm going to print underscore a, it will give the output. But if I have written like this, instead of small a, if I have written capital A, it will give you an error that capital A underscore capital A is not defined. So the fourth rule is also true, that identifiers are case sensitive. So you need to check the that whether it is written in a small letter or whether it is written in a capital letter. Also the special symbols like commas, blank spaces, these are not allowed. If you are written like this, a space name equal to the value, then system will here invalid syntax as space is not allowed. If you have written comma, a comma name is equal to, and then also here it will give you an error that it is not allowed. So the special symbols are not allowed in the declaration of these identifiers. And the next one is identifiers are user defined words, so they should not be same as of the keywords, otherwise compiler will generate an error. So whatever the identifiers you are going to declare, you need to check these identifiers are not the keywords. Some examples are taken for the variable declaration here. In case of variable declaration, variables are also known as the identifier. So your first rule is it must starts with the letter or the underscore. The second one is it must consist of letters and the numbers and the underscore. Okay, and it is a case sensitive. So here some examples are given, which are the correct variable name. Spam, if you are written, it starts with the letter, so it is allowed. Here egg, it is also, it starts with the letter. It also starts with the letter. It starts with the underscore. All of these are allowed. But here, in this case, the 23, it is starting with the digit. It will give you an error. It is starting with some special symbol. It will give you an error. You have used special symbol here, dot. It will also give you an error. And here variable, if you have written variable where one, it is one variable. If you have written that v in capital, it is another variable. And if you have written that capital one, it is also different variable name. As it is case sensitive, all of these three values have different, three values gives you the three different variables here. Okay, now we'll move to the next topic, which is a data types in the Python. Data types in Python, if you are going to consider the numbers, for the numbers, integer, float, and the complex, these are the data types. If the numbers contain all the integer values, then it will be given within the integer. So data types in Python for the numbers it mainly consist of these three types of data types here: integer, float, and the complex. We'll study about it by using the IDLE again. Here, suppose if you are written like this, a is equal to 7. अगर आप if you are written a equal to 7, 7 it is a integer value. So if you are going to check the type of that a variable, it will give you integer. If I am written m one variable and the value for that m variable, if it is written 8.7, 8.7 means it is a decimal. As it is a decimal, if you are going to write type of that m, it will give you float. If I have written one more variable here, n is equal to 1 plus 2j, and if I'm going to check the type of that n variable, it will give you that it is a complex number. Okay, so as per the values you have given, on the basis of this you will get the integer, float, and the complex number here. Okay, these data types you will get. Integer means those values are given in integer. Float means those values are given in decimal, and complex means those values are given in real and the imaginary part. Next one is string data type. If you are going to give the characters here, the set of characters, if s is a variable and you have declared that variable is equal to this is a string, it contains the characters, set of characters. So because of this, if you are going to type the type of that s, if you have written like this type of s, it will gives you the output that string. It is a string. String is nothing but it is a sequence of Unicode characters, or you can say it as a set of the characters. Next topic is, next data type is list. List are nothing but these are the ordered sequence of items. Okay, and in case of list you will require square bracket here. If you have declared one variable a is equal to in square bracket 1, 2.2 and the Python, as you have taken the square bracket here, that's why it will be considered as a list. List are nothing but these are the ordered sequence of items and these are mutable. Next one is tuples. Tuples, it is the order sequence of items, same as the list, but the only difference is that tuples are immutable. Immutable means you cannot change the values, you cannot modify the values from the tuples. And for tuples, you will require this parenthesis. In list, you have used square bracket. For tuples, you will require parenthesis. And the last one is dictionary. Dictionary is an unordered collection of items, and it is mainly given in key and the value pair. It is mainly given in key and the value pair. Like this, if a is a variable, you have declared it in a curly bracket, and here name and the age, both of them are the key, and the value for those keys are, for the name value is Bob and for the age value is 21. If you have written any variable in a curly bracket, if you have given the value for that variable in curly bracket, then it will be considered as a dictionary. And dictionaries are also unordered collection of the items in the, and those items are written in the key and the value pair here. Okay. Thank you.